I'm going to say that again. I've watched treason happen. How many times over the last 8 years? When you start a coup, let me just throw that out there. All these people that are bucking against Trump right now, they're trying to incite a coup against him so he can't do nothing. They're trying to hamstring him so he can't do nothing. When are the conservatives going to get on the streets like BLM does? When are we going to be angry enough that we say we've had enough and we ring the entire District of Columbia and we tell the United States government nobody's coming in and nobody's getting out until you see things our way? I think there's enough of us, we the people outnumber Congress. I'm not sure any of them could fight their way out. Maybe a few of the veterans would know how to escape and evade, but, I'm talking about the veterans that served in the military that are in the government now, and there's very few of them. When I was a kid, almost everybody in Congress was a veteran. Had served this country. My own state, when I enlisted into the military, the late Senator Strom Thurmond was my U.S. Senator at the time. And whether you like him or not, I don't care. He had his own secrets. I'll throw that out there. He had his own secrets. But he had served as a general in the U.S. Army in World War II, and he became a senator from South Carolina. The very day I enlisted, about a week after that, I received a personal letter from Senator Strom Thurmond along with a copy of the 1776 Constitution. And he told me to get familiar with that document because that's what I was serving the military for. I wasn't there to serve man or party. I was there to protect and serve the United States Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Domestic means here. Just this morning, I was reading an article, a Seattle City Councilwoman cannot get a visa to go back to India to visit her dying mother. She can't get a visa because several years ago she did a hit piece against, I guess, the Indian Prime Minister Modi, and he won't let her back in the country. And she said in that statement that her socialist council, and that's why she can't go back. She admitted in the news that the Seattle City Council is a socialist council. Why is she a counselor? Why is she on the city council? Why hasn't she been removed? Why hasn't the federal government shut down Seattle? You know why? That's part of Silicon Valley, man. Besides Starbucks, they got Hewlett Packard. It's part of Silicon Valley, man. Can't mess with Seattle. Can't mess with Portland. Portland's also port land. It's where a lot of stuff comes into this country from other countries. That's where a lot of stuff goes out of this country too, to other countries. The United States of America has never been invaded by an opposing army simply because of the Second Amendment. That's fact. That is a fact. The rest of the world believes every man in America, every home has at least one gun. By default, we're probably one of the world's largest armies, or militias anyways. That's the way the rest of the world looks at us. That's why they try so hard to take the Second Amendment away. But even if they did that, you could still fight back. You could still fight back. Nearly half the men at the Battle of Cowpens had pitchforks and spears. Some used bows and arrows. History book ain't gonna tell you that. Down here in the South, grandmothers usually tell family stories. Yeah. And the smart men, as the British fell, picked up the British guns and used the British guns against the British. Psychological warfare. When are the conservatives going to band together and use some psychological warfare? See, we have what we call separation of powers in this country. We have legislative branch. That's your Congress. That's your House of Representatives and your Senate. We have executive branch. Well, that's the president and his cabinet. And we have the judicial branch. No judge, no lower judge can take the power from the executive branch. You know? They just can't do it. All they can do is try to slow down what Trump is doing. Kind of like they did the first 4 years. They're going to slow him down so he can't do everything that he wants to do in his time. Now they're worried that Musk or Vance, they can't figure out who. The Democrats are already like 2 or 3 weeks into the new presidency. They're already trying to look at 2028 and figure out who's going to run. Why? Well, it's proper planning is always a good thing, but they don't want to deal with Trump. They're trying to say he's committing crimes by deporting people. They're trying to say he's committing crimes by closing down some of these government agencies that ain't even government agencies. Did you know that the Federal Reserve is not a U.S. government agency? The U.S. Treasury is, but the Federal Reserve is not. But yet the Federal Reserve is who sets all the interest rates and, basically helps empty your pockets of any money you might have made. Have you ever wondered why it's illegal for you to carry more than $10,000 to or from another country, but the U.S. government can ship $100 billion to Ukraine legally? Have you not ever thought about that? Well, if you're a free man, then you're free to travel. You and your assets are free to travel anywhere, right? See, this is the stuff I'm talking about. The American people will look at something on the TV and trust that it's the truth from either side. It don't matter. This is where you got to do your own research. Let's talk about Greenland for a minute. Trump wanted to purchase Panama, but really he wanted just a deal. And he was basically letting Panama know, we're going to get this deal, or we'll take the canal back. The United States built that canal. Panamanians didn't build that canal. The United States did, to make it easier for everybody to get, rather than have to go all the way around South America in the trading lanes for everybody. They cut through the thinnest part of the land that was connected. And the canal is only about 3 miles long, 3 or 4 miles long. It's not that long at all. And when a ship pulls in, whether it's going east or west, it don't matter. When a ship comes in, they hook them to these like train locomotives, and that's what guides them through the canal. Once we pulled out of the canal back in the 90s, see, I'd been to Panama in 92, and then again, I think in 94, and then I went one time back in the 80s, I want to say 84, 85. I've been to Panama 3 or 4 times. I was on Christmas leave during 89 during Operation Just Cause, and as soon as it kicked off, my phone rang. It was Christmas Eve. It was like 4:30 in the morning for me, and it was Christmas Eve morning. I had just gotten home the night before. My phone rang. It was a sergeant major saying I had 24 hours to get back to the Wisconsin. That's the USS Wisconsin battleship. Brand new battleship. Brand new war. Wrecked Christmas. And all it was somebody had to clean up old business from back in the day when, the Iran-Iraq Contra scandal happened back in the earlier 80s, 6 years before, I think. Somebody had to clean up a mess. Noriega had to come out of power because Noriega knew too much. See, at the time we were sending money and arms to Iran, we were sending money and arms to Iraq to keep their war going. We wanted them to kill each other. And the money was being funneled through Noriega and Panama to the Contras in El Salvador to keep their war going. And I had to leave home at Christmas time again. Corruption. That's what that was all about. Now they started charging us to. The United States is one of the biggest shippers in the world. They were costing us a ton of money to use something we'd built to build their economy up. Afghanistan had to happen because we were supporting Osama bin Laden and the Mujahideen army. We supported them in their war with Russia. Everybody we've been to war with since the end of World War II was our ally at one time, including the Mujahideen army, also known as the Taliban or Al-Qaeda. A lot of these are just facts, little armies set up by bad people within our government so that we fight ourselves or cause us to fight ourselves. I'm tired of the fighting. I'm tired of the finger pointing. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the corruption. And there ain't nothing I can do about it except vote for somebody. And if I vote for somebody and he doesn't please me, he's definitely going to hear about it. Nine years ago, I heard, lock her up. 9 years ago. 9 years later, she still ain't locked up. But I've heard nothing about, the illegal server, that was a crime. The documents, that was a crime. And paying for a dossier, that was a crime. All these crimes, and she ain't locked up yet. All because of diplomatic immunity. So now you're hearing Trump stripping security clearances. Maybe they'll get locked up. I hope they do. I don't think migrants are the only ones going to be going to get them. At least in my mind, it just makes me feel good to even think that's possible. No matter what happens, be strong and courageous. As for me and my house, I serve the Lord. And I trust no one except God and a few Marines. Some of my buddies, we were talking the other day, and I can't remember exactly what one of them posted a meme about something, and I said I would do it all over again, but only with the same people that I had before. I had good Marines, and I love every one of them. Put on the full armor of God. You don't need the tinfoil hat. All you got to do is use common sense. Put your faith in God. No matter what happens on this earth and in this life, you get your riches in heaven. And up there, you won't even need them. You'll have it and not even need it. Y'all have a good day.